Hey guys, happy Wednesday. So we're gonna do something a little bit different today. Uh, I'm not I'm not the best HVAC guy out there, but even I know some things are suspect. Some things that guys try to come up with, and trust me, I've came up with some really crazy ideas. But I was kind of scrolling on YouTube like I usually do, and I ran across this old house video about this guy that somehow thinks that he licked how to zone a house very simply, and for homes that you can't get to the ductwork, homes that there's just no way to really zone it conventionally. And I just want to go over this video because it's pretty hilarious. Myriad of problems with this. So let's, without further ado, let's check it out here.
The majority of homes in America, about 90% actually, have some sort of ducted heating or cooling system. There's a central furnace or air conditioner like this, generally in the basement, maybe in the attic, or in the garage.
As if it's not bad enough, it's a Goodman, right? I'm not seeing anything I don't like right off the bat. I noticed that he has I noticed he has the clean out tee after, well, there's no trap there, so he's got a clean out tee to go, no, it's before the trap, never mind. And they got a proper trap on it.
And it's got a unit like this, a furnace to make the air warm. This is the cooling coil to make the air cold. There's a fan to push the air through a main trunk. Now this main trunk has branches right here that go to individual rooms. At the end of those branches there are registers in the rooms. The air also has to get back through a return like this, back to here to be reheated or recooled. Now, as somebody who works in these systems, I will tell you, there is one complaint that we always get from homeowners. It is that it is uncomfortable. The wrong temperature from room to room, from floor to floor. They also complain that it's noisy, dusty, or drafty. Now, there's a challenge to getting these things right from the beginning. You need the right...
Yeah, it's called variable speed equipment, multi-stage equipment, with properly sized trunk lines and properly sized returns.
You need the right size unit, furnace, the right size duct, the right size branch, the right size register, the right size return. You need to be sure the ducts are sealed and insulated, and that generally doesn't happen. Today we're actually going to see a new system that actually fixes these systems and makes them comfortable. So Dip, you invented this cool new system, but you're not from the HVAC industry.
No, I actually come from the defense industry where I worked on missile defense.
So you're a rocket scientist.
You know, we were engineers that would hit bad guy missiles out of the sky with other missiles. And as we built those systems, I got really good at understanding the different sensors you needed to make that happen, which is temperature, pressure, humidity.
Sure.
And my career brought me around to different homes and apartments around the country, and I learned that, they were very uncomfortable.
Every apartment you were in was uncomfortable.
Every single apartment, and it was almost a dozen of them, actually. And, what we learned was if you knew the temperature, pressure, and humidity, you could solve the problem.
You could fix it.
Yeah, and that's what we've done.
I'm dying to see the system.
Can't wait to show you. We're installing one now.
I've always zoned ducted systems using conventional motorized dampers. You cut them down into the ductwork, and you can have a couple of zones, upstairs versus down.
Right. We actually zone right here at the vent itself. And here's a typical vent that you might see in a home.
So this is a floor register that's got the damper on the back. Homeowners always try to...
So those little plates, and where he's got his little, it looks like his little sensor deal and his batteries, that's blocking off a quarter of the grill right there.
Close these off and make all kinds of noise.
That's right. And if you look at ours, they look very similar, but that's where the similarities end.
All right.
And it all starts here in the front as you pop the faceplate off.
So it's
here.
battery operated, no wires?
No wires, 3 to 5 years of battery life on normal AA batteries. And we actually have a circuit board here that's got a little radio in it and a brain.
So that's the brains.
That's the brains. Now, here's what's really cool. So
those little plates and where he's got his little, it looks like his little sensor deal and his batteries, you know, that's blocking off a quarter of the grill right there. So there's strike 10 already.
Back here, we've taken a lot of the same sensors that we used in missile defense, actually, to sense the temperature and the pressure of the airflow coming out of the duct.
Right, so there's a sensor right there. Yep.
Right there in the back. And what's really cool about this vent is it also opens and closes, as you see here.
Right, so here's the damper blade. Oh, look at that.
That's right.
So cool.
Silent.
And quiet, yeah.
That's right. But that's...
So what we have here is we have an engineer that thinks he's doing missile defense systems. We're trying to zone some ductwork here.
That's not enough just to understand what's happening at the vent from a temperature perspective.
Okay.
And so what we did was we built a sensor that really unlocks what's happening in the room.
So this goes right over a conventional outlet. You plug that in, and you still have your 2 outlets there.
That's right. And what you also have here is USB that allows you to charge your devices,
Great.
which is fun.
Everybody
but it
needs
also,
that.
Yeah, and it senses the temperature, pressure, and humidity of the room it's in.
Okay, so one of these plug in the wall air temperature sensors for every register?
Well, actually, one per room, and then you replace every register in the house with one of our intelligent
Great.
ones here.
Ready to start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Seems simple enough. This is the right one for here?
That's right. Same size. Look at that.
That's pretty simple. Where are gonna put this?
So, you know, you can really plug it in anywhere, but for now, we can actually plug it right in here.
You know what I found is when something's easy to do, it doesn't necessarily make it better. Just like flex duct and flexible gas pipe and pro press and all that other crap that I hate. Looks like a lot of the registers blocked on those ceiling ones too, with this stupid little sensor he's got in there. Yeah, see, look how much of the airflow looks like it's blocked. There's not much coming through that thing. So now that
So now that we've replaced every vent in the house with one of the intelligent vents,
Yeah.
and we have the sensors in every room of the home, they all communicate with each other through the hub.
Okay.
And what happens is they send all that information that they're collecting all the time right here to the hub. And
So basically what he did was he took something that's very simple to do and made it overly complicated with a bunch of circuitry involved. And hate to see what happens if the power goes out.
the way the hub works is it just plugs right into the wall here,
Power.
and then you hook it up to the homeowner's internet connection here. And then what the hub will do is take all that information, mash it all together, and get you room-by-room temperature control. So here's how a homeowner would control their home.
Off the smartphone.
You have
like
it.
everything nowadays.
Exactly.
So this is our house right here.
This is the house right here.
So I can see master bath, kitchen, dining room, guest. That's cool. Living room. So do they still have a thermostat?
Well, you know, you have one, and that thermostat is basically now a switch that tells the heater and cooler when to turn on, but it's really the hub making the decisions on
And all
what
those
to do.
sensors
Where's all this bypass air going?
are in the rooms.
You have it.
All right, so, okay. So I can set the temperature, turn it up or down anywhere I want.
That's right. Also, what we have here are scenes, so let's just say it's time for bed.
So I ripped out a system. It was the ME system. If you guys have never heard of it, it's the EMME. It kind of worked off the same principles, but it, basically there's these little bladders that went in each of these rooms, and you know, there was a form of relief, but man, you can't zone really small duct like that and expect it to work. You know, unless you have a piece of equipment that's going to ramp down to the airflow and capacity of like one duct run. You can't do this with 6-inch duct runs. It's not going to work with no form of a bypass or a dump zone or anything.
I can click bed here, and the home will basically adjust to the rooms that I'm in, set them the way I want, and the rooms I'm not in, for instance, the kitchen, you know, will get shut down.
Right. And you can change those scenes based on time of day or anything
Exactly.
else.
You can schedule those scenes.
It is so cool. So,
Right.
when I think about zoning, though, it totally worries me to death that you close off enough zones, you're going to
So you're basically just going to overheat and overcool everything anyway, so it's worthless.
Either burn up the furnace and make it fail, or freeze the air conditioner.
Right, and now we're back on airflow and pressure, as we talked about in the early days, right? And what you have to do is make sure you have enough airflow. And so because the hub is making all of those decisions, it makes sure you never close off so many vents that you create a problem, which...
So you understand what he's saying there. So he's saying it's kind of like the Bryant evolution system, or pretty much any of the communicating zoning systems that the manufacturers have, where it'll give you some relief on some of the other zones. The problem with this is, you know, let's say you just want your bedroom, you know, heating or cooling, and then you have 8 other small zones. You basically you're gonna have to relief all of them. And so it makes the zoning worthless. So what you're going to have is all your zones either overheating or overcooling, regardless of what you do. When you have this many small little zones, it's just never going to work right. Can't have. They're going to be wide open, all the other zones, while the only zone that's calling is open as well. It's absolutely worthless.
It actually prolongs the life of your HVAC because we're maintaining that airflow.
You'll always have the right airflow going across the furnace, so you won't burn it up, you won't freeze the coil, you won't have a service call.
You have...
Rich is smarter than this. Richard's smarter than that.
Exactly.
You have my attention. I'm so glad you switched from rocket science to HVAC.
Me
We've
too.
needed this for a while.
I'm finally comfortable.
So yeah, tell me what you guys think about that zoning system. It's a zoning system that's designed basically to not really be zoning, and a system that's designed to basically, it's going to kill your furnace. You do not want to zone unless you're using variable speed equipment, multi-staged equipment, some means of a bypass or a dump, if you're working with existing ductwork. Now, if you have a chance to modify the ductwork to where you can have, you know, the smallest zone, take up the minimum airflow, minimum CFMs that the system will put out, then it'll work just fine. You know, Ted Cook is a big proponent of not having any form of dump or bypass, which I agree with, but sometimes you have to do what you got to do. You know, customer wants zoning, I'm going to give it to them any way that I can. I'm not going to use this system, but yeah, so proper way to zone, multi-stage equipment, variable capacity equipment, and then, you know, properly sized ductwork to make sure that you can deliver the minimum airflow that's required for the equipment. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this video. I would expect better from this old house, but you know, they're not really HVAC experts on there. Thanks for watching.